5, 4.
Hello and welcome to Season 2 of Girls Got Game here on Hitting the Field Network. I'm your host, Franki Noble, and today we'll be talking about the Penn State volleyball win, the Orlando Pride becoming NWSL champions, and finally, a win for the Ski Patrol at Park City. So stay tuned because Girls Got Game Season 2 starts right now. And we're back, this time with a very special guest co-host. You'll be seeing her face more this season. I'm here with Katie Christianson. Katie, how you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. I'm so excited for this season. I'm so happy to be here, so I'm ready for a great season.
Well, we're super excited, and not some guest co-hosts, but great guests. We're here with first time on air Jordan Patrick and not first time on air Nick Cohen. How are you guys doing?
I'm great. I'm ready to talk some volleyball.
Doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good. Well, I think we should just jump right into it. Like we were saying before the show, this is the first time in the long history of Girls Got Game we're talking about volleyball. So I'm very excited. And to jump right into it, let's talk to our new resident volleyball fan, Jordan. Tell us a little bit about this game.
So this game was so much fun to watch. I don't know if you guys know, but at the very beginning of season, I think it was their third game, Louisville and Penn did play each other, and Penn swept Louisville. So this game was very interesting and fun.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State has a very long, rich volleyball history.
Yep.
So it was very exciting to see them in the championship. Obviously, it wasn't a very similar game to that first game that they played. Much different. It was an electric game. Super exciting, but it was also history-making, which is a big reason we're talking about it. It's a big reason that it became the game it was. It was everywhere. Nick, do you want to tell us a little bit about why it was so history-making?
Absolutely. So Penn State's head coach, Katie Ann Schumacher-Colley, she still is the first female head coach of a volleyball team to win the national championship, and that was guaranteed either way because Louisville, their head coach, is also a woman. So the winner, they would have gotten that award. But Katie Ann Schumacher-Colley, she's an amazing head coach. Unfortunately, she was diagnosed with breast cancer early in the season, but that didn't stop her at all. She led Penn State to a NCAA leading 35-2 record. They finished 20-0 at home and finished on a 12-game win streak. That Penn State team, they led the nation in kills, assists, and they were top 10 in blocks. Katie, she won the Big Ten Coach of the Year, and very deservingly so. She's a great head coach.
It was absolutely such a beautiful and powerful story. She wanted to stay there for her girls, and those girls loved and respected her and played so much harder just because of that fact. So it was empowering to watch, inspirational, and that whole game they were fighting. Like that first set that they won, they were fighting hard, but they ended up winning. Second set, so it took forever. But
forever even.
But I mean, Penn, they sadly lost that one, but then they won the next two, and I mean, they brought it home. It was incredible. So now I really do want to highlight some of our favorite players from this team. I wanted to talk about Jess Musnick, who absolutely incredible. She was 2024's most outstanding player, and the way that she plays is more different than I've seen a lot of volleyball players. She throws her swings constantly. She is always working because she trusts her team behind her. She's able to take more risks because she knows that her team has her back, and that's so important, and that's why you need to remember how team bonding works, and that you're not just one person. You need the people behind you, and she really utilizes that to her success, and it's incredible to watch. What about you? Who was your outstanding player of this season?
So my outstanding player of this season, obviously Jess, is very, very, very important to this win. Something I even want to talk about is that the leading player of kills after her was Cameron Hanna, who only had 19, so 10 less. I just need to touch on that, how impressive of a win it was for Jess. But my most important player was actually a player that didn't even play this game at all. From Louisville, I want to talk about Anna DeBeer, who unfortunately could not play this national championship game. She's been out with an ankle injury, and she is one of the best volleyball players I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys have watched her before. Jordan, I'm sure you have. But she's a very impressive athlete. I definitely think it would have been a different game if she was in. What you can see right now is she was named the ACC Player of the Year in 2023. She's been named to the Final Four All-Tournament Team 2022. Those are just some of the accolades she's gotten. She is an incredible player. Everybody knew that if she was out, this would be a game. Nobody knew it was going to go to Penn State for sure, but they definitely had this leg up on this team because she was out. I'm very interested to see what this game would have looked like with her. Obviously, Louisville took that one set, very impressive set, like we said, very long set.
Yes.
And I would have loved to see even her in that set. Like, would it have gone to, what was it, 35?
I don't know. I mean, they did win that set, but I think that's because they were fighting so hard. I don't think that the entire game would have changed, really. I do think Penn State would have still won. It would have been really nice to see her out there, and would have changed, but even that they were fighting for that one set that they got, I think Penn State had it in the bag.
Right, and obviously we're talking about the two leaders of these teams. Anna DeBeer unfortunately wasn't able to play that leader role because she was in the game. But Jordan, do you want to touch a little bit on the leadership of these two teams, even missing Anna DeBeer, but even with Jess?
So like we said, after the second set, after going in the 30s, I thought for sure it was going to go 5 sets. Like, I was convinced. But obviously, DeBeer couldn't make it, and I mean, that's just something the coaches had to discuss. And I mean, you saw the press conferences before, they were talking to the coaches and they were like, is DeBeer going to make an appearance? And they did not want to say anything.
No, because they didn't want the other team to know. Because, like, what do you think that practice would have looked like if they knew she wasn't going to be in there? Obviously, they were going to work as hard, but, like, that's a huge weight off their back knowing that their star player is out.
I mean, whoever, Peyton, Peterson, Peterson, she was a freshman first year, and she took Anna DeBeer's place, and I think the game right before, she did amazing. She took the team on her back. She got aces. She got kills. She got the game-winning point to put them to the championship. I mean, that is big shoes to fill. And I think she did great with that. I think, unfortunately, in the finals, she could not do that for her team. She did get a few aces, but
she led even the entire game in aces with 3, which is more than anybody, but still.
Yeah, I think DeBeer's presence was definitely missed for sure.
Yeah, Katie, what do you think about that absence?
The absence absolutely would have changed something, but like, again, Jess was a different team, and Jess, she had 3 season highs just in that game alone. She had 29 kills, 33 points, and 5 total blocks. Like, she was on fire that game, and so was the rest of the team. It was very unfortunate because that is as a player, that is something that you dream of, like getting to have the opportunity to be there and fight for your team. And, I probably would think that she would feel guilty, which she shouldn't. She should not. It's hard going into that and having to deal with that, being like, I wasn't there for my team. So my heart goes out to them. My heart goes out to her. Yeah. Because that's never what you want when it comes to sports.
Well, and also, like, in front of the home crowd. This was in Louisville. Yeah. So her family was likely there, and so I also feel really bad for her.
And like, it's obviously devastating. I mean, they showed her. It was devastating to see her on that bench, in the crowd, whatever, knowing that she couldn't really do anything to help her team out. But on the flip side of it, I don't think there was anything stopping Penn State winning this game for their coach. And that's, like, honestly the X factor for Penn State. Yes, they're an impressive team. Yes, they have impressive players, because even Jess is their star player, it doesn't look like it on the court. You know it. If you watch volleyball, you know who to look out for. But they all looked like star players in that game because they wanted it so badly for their coach. You can see here, like, it was such an emotional game for everyone, coach included. Everybody was in an emotional state. And I just don't think there was anything that was going to stop them, even if Anna DeBeer was in the game. It would have been a different game 100%, but I just wonder if anything were to stop them from winning and getting this history-making win for their coach.
Jess even said at a post-game interview that they were talking about their core values this season and, the start of what they really wanted to focus on. And she said that this season's going to be bigger than them, which is just so powerful. Like, they knew it was more than what they could do. They won it for the past people who played on that team. They won it for, like, Penn State. They did it for everyone. And, they knew this was bigger than themselves, which pushed them to work harder and to get out of their own skin and know that they're doing something that is bigger than themselves, which obviously was done so beautifully and so well. And I love seeing a fight like that. I love seeing a fight like that.
100%. Jordan, Nick, any final thoughts before we close out on our first volleyball segment ever?
I just wanted to touch on the leadership aspect a little bit. I mean, my favorite players, obviously were the setters. I mean, they lead the court. It was Nylas Cabello and Izzy Stark, both from Florida, by the way, representing well. But yeah, I think they both took their teams on their backs in different ways. Obviously, Izzy and Penn stayed consistent with their lineup. Louisville did change up their lineup around set 2 and 3, which I think threw them off a bit. But I think Stark leading Penn to that championship match was really the game winner, in my opinion.
Nick, any final thoughts?
First time talking volleyball. I hope it's not the last. I hope to be back here next season for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Nick said, hopefully touch on volleyball a little bit more. This has been super fun. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this segment, but stay tuned because we're going to talk about maybe the best Orlando team. Stay tuned.
And you can be a part of such a team through SIMTE at UCF. You'll join a team of students just like you who are ready to innovate the future of TV and film.
With SIMTE at UCF, you'll be able to connect with local industry pros, learn about new technology in the industry, as well as get backstage experience that really matters. Join SIMTE for a backstage pass to all of this.
We meet every last Monday of the month for our general body meetings. There we discuss how new technology is being used to create new media, and we get to highlight local professionals and their specialties.
On top of that, we have some site visits planned, so tune into our social media to be notified of when those will happen.
So if you're ready to pull back the curtain and find out what really happens behind the scenes, join SIMTE at UCF.
Hi, and welcome back to Girls Got Game. We have a very exciting story for you today about Orlando Pride, our home field, right? We have with us beautiful, lovely guests. We have Patrick DeLeon and Gio Vincent St. Jean. And how are you guys? How are you doing?
We're good. I'm really excited to talk about Orlando Pride once again on a very exciting note compared to the last time where we left off last season. I was like freaking out, but super excited for this one.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I think talking about Orlando Pride always brings me joy because they are just so good that it's so worth it.
I'm glad. Thank you guys for being here. We're very excited to have you on. I wanted to ask first, what was your biggest moment from this season, like the one that just has the most value to you?
I'll go first.
Patrick can always talk about this.
So for me, I was going to say it's going to be the 3-2 win over the KC Current in the semifinals of the playoffs, just because when you were watching that game, you could just tell that absolutely nothing was going to stop this team from reaching the final and winning the final. Haley McCutcheon scoring the first goal, beautiful ball across the box. She puts it right back into the net. Barbara Banda with a rocket just straight into the back of the net, and then Marta capping it all off, dropping 2 defenders and the keeper right at the end. It was beautiful. It was just amazing. And again, like I said, just the way they played, the way that Seb Hines set up his team, not just for this game, but throughout the entire season, you could just tell that nothing was gonna stop it, especially Marta, because she was waiting, what, 7 years? Yeah. 7 years, and she got it, and I mean, it's just amazing what this team has done.
Especially against Kansas City, if we go back to last season's Girls Got Game, they were someone that I thought that they should have on their radar. I thought that they were going to go all the way, especially with the final game being in Kansas City. I thought that the Current were going to go all the way. I think I even said that they were going to win the whole thing. Obviously, I have a lot of faith in Orlando Pride.
Right.
I maybe took some out of it from Patrick, but I did have some doubts. I thought the Current were going to go all the way. I thought that they were going to especially want to perform in front of their home crowd. So the fact that Orlando came out with something to prove. Obviously, they haven't proven themselves years before this, and they have this year. So they came out and they're like, no, we're not going to let you get to that home field advantage that you want. We're going to come out and win. So I think it was an awesome win. So I definitely agree with you that it was very exciting to watch.
What about you, Gio? What was your most valuable part of the season?
For me, I think was on October 6th, the Pride played against Washington Spirit. And for me, that game was a 2-0 for Pride. And it was such a hard game. And I think that set the tone because they won the NWSL Shield on that game. So for me, it was just seeing how they worked together and then how they transformed the game on the second half. First half, no scores. And then second half, 2 goals, a penalty kick from Marta. And then Adriana shoot, and it was a GO because it bounced on the other team's player and then it went into the net. But it was just such a good game to watch, and seeing they win the first trophy in Orlando Pride's history was just, like, for me, it showed how that team could go. Like watching it from the field, it was just the atmosphere. It just showed like, oh, they won this, they're gonna win the championship. We could go around and everyone was like, okay, we won the Shield, we're going for the championship.
Yeah, what was the atmosphere like at these home games for like the players that or the people that didn't get to go? And do you think that plays a part in their games?
Absolutely, and you could see like over the course of the season that slowly the attendances were getting a little bit bigger. I do think the attendances should be way higher than because this team deserves that building to be sold out every week. But you could see throughout the course of the season how much more and more people would come back, especially that this team was performing at the levels that everybody was hoping they would be performing at for all these years. So heading into this game that Gio was just talking about against the Washington Spirit, everybody knew that they can win the Shield if they just had to beat the Spirit, and they got it done. Like she said, it was a hard game, but the atmospheres, they're so much fun. Everybody loves this team. You can really feel just the friendly vibes from everybody around. Everybody's cheering, men, women, children of all ages. It's so much fun. I love being there. I haven't been in the supporter section for the Pride games yet, but everybody loves being there as well. They're just as passionate as any other fan base in the world as well.
I wonder now, especially they got their win. Obviously, that's a huge factor of people coming on to these games, but a lot of people didn't know about this team before the season, and now they know this team, and they know players like Barbara Banda and Marta. With Marta's 2-year extension, which I'm sure everyone's thrilled about.
Yes.
I wonder if that will bring more people into the stands, because I don't think a lot of people knew about this great athlete that we had right in our backyard.
They get a lot of publicity for this now, and it's gonna change.
And soccer fans obviously know about this team, and the soccer fans that are here know about this team, the Pride, City, all this stuff, but a lot of just Orlando natives, UCF students didn't know we had 2 of the best athletes in the city on this Pride team. So I wonder if that'll draw a bigger crowd next season now.
It should, just because, I mean, these ladies, they deserve it. Just like if they were the men's side, it doesn't matter. They deserve it. Arguably, I would put all the resources from the men to the women because they deserve it. They can win is the point. And everybody likes a winning team. Now, if more people come, okay, bandwagon, whatever. But we'll get into that another day. But it's just these ladies, they need the support, especially with this new year, like a fresh slate. We're going to see what they can cook up, and more people are going to be invested. So maybe expectations are going to be a little bit higher because nobody was expecting this out of them last year. So we'll have to see what they come up with this year.
It was an awesome win. Them just winning the NWSL championship was amazing. 1-0. Banda Barbara with her head score. It was awesome to see. And this was her first time on this season. Yes, she's been playing soccer for a very long time, but coming into a new environment and still being able to perform as well as she performed and really understand this team dynamic was so incredible. And I wanted to ask you guys, what difference do you think that she has made to the team?
I think that she brings a lot of power to the team. She's a very when she plays, she likes to do the things herself. So sometimes we do get some chances that she misses because she doesn't pass the ball, but that shows that she can get it done. And every time she converts, it's just like she can do that. And they know that they can rely on her to shoot it and to get it right. So I think that it brings a lot of power to the attack of the team, because on the back rows, we do have a bunch of incredible girls. And even though we have Marta, that's one of the best, the best player of all time.
I love you and Patrick both make that claim. I love it so much. Because it's Orlando and you can say that. Sorry, keep going.
She is awesome. The best. Then now Barbara is bringing that new energy that okay, I can play with Marta and we can be on the same level. She's showing up as stronger and higher and just incredible. And I feel like she brings that new energy to the team.
I love their dynamic.
Yeah.
It's an amazing dynamic. And
She's incredible.
They do play very well together.
Yeah. Yes.
I think they feed off each other perfectly. I think that's what Marta was lacking from all these previous years.
Yes.
And Marta was exactly what Barbara needed to succeed in this environment.
Yeah, and I think she's still going to be able to learn under Marta too. As you said earlier, not passing the ball as much. That is something yes, she's an absolutely incredible player, but that is something that we can improve, and it's not as hard as other improvements that need to be made.
Yeah, she can only get better from here.
Exactly. So that is amazing. I have some more questions for you guys. I wanted to ask, what areas of the team do you think that they can improve on, and how for next season? And what do you expect for the next season?
I think it's going to be really hard to even top this season just because of everything that had happened this year. It was just amazing. So many records broken. Seb Hines, he's just going to have to keep doing what he's doing, and we'll just see what happens.
All right, thank you so much. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but that is unfortunately all the time that we have for this segment. But stay tuned because Girls Got Game will be right back.
So I guess the crew's getting ready for the next segment on one of our amazing shows. I'm Nick Cohen, host of season 20 of Hitting the Field, and let me tell you about those amazing shows. On behalf of HTF, we hope you're enjoying today's content, but I'm here to tell you about everything else we offer here at the network. Mondays at 4, HTF Bets goes live for season 10 with 3 gamblers that, although it may not always seem like it, are here to help us all earn a little bit of extra money while we watch sports. Diego Ortiz, Tyler Brownrigg, and Andrew Gregg's ball knowledge and fun personalities make this show a fan favorite. On Tuesdays, you all loved it, so we brought it back for season 2. It's Girls Got Game, hosted by Franki Noble, a show blending women in sports, the biggest sports news stories, and creative segments that make for a fun and engaging show. Next is everyone's favorite sports podcast, The Combine, hosted by who other than Ty Patton, an easygoing, conversational, and technical podcast dropping Wednesdays, also on Spotify at The Combine. Then tune in Thursdays at noon for the network's main show, season 20 of Hitting the Field, hosted by me. Here, we'll cover any sport, any topic, any story, no matter how obscure. We love some football, basketball, hockey, F1. We also cover baseball, soccer, and we even have to show the UFC love sometimes. Penultimately, TGIF, because Friday is nighttime, hosted by Kathleen Moore and Matthew Bracker. Season 8 of Nighttime is where you'll turn to for all things March Madness, UCF sports, and other collegiate events. We're ending with something brand new. HTFN has never had 6 shows running at once. Also filmed in our new podcast studio is HTFC, hosted by Edgar Rodriguez and Patrick De Leon. Football, or soccer in America, is the most popular sport in the world. Across multiple leagues and cups, soccer is a year-round sport, and HTFC is your news source to stay updated. Also on Spotify, by the way, at HTFC. Outside of our 6-show roster, be sure to tune in to our other content, such as the Studio Days vlog, run by our vlog squad of Brianna St. Jean, Michaela Croker, Ashley Rowe, and Ben Huber. Make sure to follow us on our social medias like Instagram, Facebook, and X to stay updated on all HTFN news. Remember to subscribe right here on YouTube, leave a like and comment, and with that, I think we're ready for your next segment. I'm Nick Cohen. Thank you for your continued support, and back to your regularly scheduled programming.
And we're back with a very special guest, because not only is she our new producer, it's also her birthday. Everyone welcome Anya Garrett-Bashfully. Anya, how are you doing?
I'm feeling so appreciated here today because this is the fact that it's the season premiere and it's going so well. I'm so happy.
We're so happy.
Yes.
We love this show so much. We love Anya being in charge of the show. It's wonderful. And it's your birthday. Well, maybe we'll sing at the end of the...
No.
Nope. Okay, maybe we won't sing. Maybe we won't sing. But it's also special because we get to talk about something that Anya is very excited about.
Yes.
It's something we've never touched on Girls Got Game before. Anya, why don't you just tell us what we're going to talk about today?
So we're going to be talking about the Park City Ski Patrol, of all things, mainly because when I first pitched this idea, they were still on strike, but thankfully, good news, they have reached an agreement with Vail Resorts, which is the company that hires them. So for context, Vail has about 40 different resorts throughout the world, a lot in North America. They have some in Europe, and they own these ski hills, and some skiers might say that they make them worse, others say they make them better. Every skier has a different opinion on them, but what is true is the fact that Ski Patrol at Park City filed for unfair labor practices against Vail Resorts back in December, and for about 12 days of active striking, they were striking and they weren't working. So you can see here, this is footage that I took while I was there. I didn't realize this was going to happen when I signed up for winter break activities.
Just happened to happen.
And you can just see how crowded it is, and it's not safe. People are running into each other. I almost get cut off here because there's just not enough runs open when Ski Patrol's on strike, and the lines are insanely long. So why were they all striking, I guess, is the next question. It was mainly because they weren't being paid enough and that they were wanting some more just benefits as to what they do as ski patrollers, their first responders. And they got that. They got their $2 base pay increase from $21 to $23, which for reference, one burger at one of those Vail Resort restaurants is $25. So kind of says what Vail thinks of their,
So
men
sad.
and women in red instead of blue.
Men and women in red. Yeah, obviously.
They're skating around in red jackets.
They got to a conclusion. They ended up ending their strike, but I think we need to go back to when they were on strike and just how dangerous all of this was.
Yes.
Because I know the two of you have gone skiing before, snowboarding, all that stuff. I have never, unfortunately, don't think I ever will. But it's extremely, extremely, extremely dangerous to not have the ski patrol here. And it just goes to show, like, how underappreciated they are, that they can't just give them a few extra dollars when it's so important. Katie, what do you think about this?
I've been skiing since I was young. I love it. It's a great sport. It's so fun. My whole family goes whenever we can. And we've also gotten hurt. Like, family and friends of mine, it's happened more than once or twice. It's very easy to get injured. It's very dangerous, especially, there's a lot of people that don't, maybe stumble upon a black diamond by accident. And, they continue and they keep trying to go down, but, they'll get hurt. And without those people there, it's very dangerous. A lot of people die, people have serious injuries. And so I don't understand why they wouldn't prioritize these people that are saving people's lives. And that's very disappointing. And I am very happy that they finally got what they were asking. It wasn't a lot for what they do. And they needed it. They needed it desperately.
100%.
Yeah. And Ski Patrol does more than just like first response to injuries that happen on the hill. They're also in charge of opening up a lot of the runs. They're avalanche certified. They have avalanche dogs to make sure that, conditions are safe to continue to ski upon, not just when they open, because it's not just the amount of snow you have on the run, it's also how safe it is, how packed down it is. Is there like a cliffside nearby that has also a bunch of snow that's just like ready to roll down on guests? And on top of that, they also do more than just emergency bring downs, like you were talking about black diamonds. A lot of times people get scared and they'll call Ski Patrol like, I can't get down, like I need help, and like they're there to do that as well. So they're a really important asset for any ski patrol.
I'm sure a lot of people have. It's a dangerous sport. It's a dangerous activity.
Yeah.
And
there's a reason you sign waivers.
Right, and like it's a huge tourism capital, like skiing, all this ski resorts, things like that, and the people are what bring in all your profit. And so when you have customers that aren't satisfied, you'd think they'd go and be like, yeah, let's maybe get our ski patrol back.
Yeah, it took the last few days of the strike, the Park City mayor had written a formal letter to Vail Resorts being like, hey, you are impacting my community by having our guests not satisfied. People are leaving, they're boycotting this place, and our businesses are struggling. And this was like a formal letter to Vail Resorts, and lo and behold, 2 days later, they somehow made an agreement. I don't know. I feel like that definitely had something to do with it.
Absolutely. It definitely did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just talking about this, because like I said, I'm not well versed in skiing and all this, but it all just makes me think like, how can the customers that come and pay for this like be okay with this? And obviously like they weren't, they came to a conclusion. It just is mind-boggling to me that this big corporation doesn't care. Like obviously they came to a conclusion, like I keep saying, but it went on it wasn't fast. It wasn't like, how do you have this huge corporation and that you say you care about your customers and you care about your employees? You really don't.
And then we saw your video, saw your footage, like
hard evidence.
And I wonder how many people did get hurt, like on those slips when it was like that. You're so prone when it looks like that, when it, people are cutting you off left and right. And obviously you're a more advanced skier, but not everyone on those slopes are advanced skiers. So it's always dangerous, especially when, a lot of advanced skiers also will weave in and out. That's just what they tend to do when it's packed. Yeah. And so, someone who's not able to stop as fast as some other people will stop can't run into a tree, fall. It's crazy. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. But but thankfully they've opened back up and they've gotten like record snow amounts, especially during those 12 days that they were striking. They got like over 2 feet of snow, so they went from a base of like barely 3 feet to over 5 feet, and it was just it was unimaginable to see how much snow there was, and then it's like they're still not opening it up because they don't want to agree with their first responders. But
they're good now. All is fine. All is good. Super exciting. I love that we're talking all these like new sports, new things, all this fun stuff. Thank you to everybody that joined, especially to Gio and Jordan on air debuts and birthday girl Anya. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week's episode of Girls Got Game. We'll see you next week with a brand new episode.